network connection. Oh, there we go. Hi. Welcome. Good morning, Permission Granted friends. I'm here with my friend, Kim Nowlin.
Good morning.
This is our first, no, it's not our first Facebook Live. I did one with you, didn't I?
No. This is our first Facebook Live.
Oh, well, I guess I just feel like we've done this before.
Well, in our heads.
Maybe. We've talked about it for a long time. This is
Yes.
true. So we had a really great conversation together yesterday. We're here at Leverage in California, which is where you live.
Yes, I live here in San Jose.
Yes, and so we went to the first Leverage, the very first one. We were in the same
group.
Yep, in the same group. So it's been really fun to develop that friendship and this connection over the last 5 years? 4? I don't know. That part's not important. That's part that's not important. So, but we had a great conversation yesterday, and we were talking about leaning into the season that you're in, and that we have to give ourselves permission to do that. Like, we don't have to let people talk us into something. We don't have to pretend. Like, it's okay to just lean into that season that we find ourselves. So I just wanted to do, like, this is kind of impromptu, and we're just rolling with it, because we can do that.
That's
Permission
right.
to do that,
Permission
right?
granted.
Permission granted. So we talked a little bit about yesterday about how you are in the season where you've had to kind of pull back a little bit. Could you just share a little bit about that?
Yes, and I love that we got to talk about that.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was good. It was a good conversation. So our family has been in a bit of turmoil over the last few months. My 18-year-old niece, Lauren, amazing young lady, she passed away suddenly and tragically in a rock climbing accident in June. And so, oddly enough, like the day before, I was like ready to launch into what I do. I was ready to run and was in a good place, a good season in my life with where my kids are and our family. And so this just threw everything out. And so it's kind of thrown me for a loop, and I have not felt the permission, like I should still be pressing on, and I felt guilty really that I'm not doing what I should be doing, and even just not feeling like that. And so yesterday's conversation, when you were just like, well, this is where you are, and just to be where you are, because this part of my life does need attention right now. You know, my family needs my attention, and it's not that I'm not doing everything, but I'm not going at the speed that I necessarily wanted to.
Right. So it's kind of okay to just push pause for a moment.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, just to kind of like, okay, like, you're not saying you're quitting anything.
Nope.
You're not saying that these other things aren't important or not a vital part of who you are and your work, but just that, okay, it's okay to kind of just push pause. So what are some of the things that kind of make you hesitant to push pause?
Oh, number one for me is always what other people think of me.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Just worried, like people, I think it makes me appear weak, that I couldn't be, pushing through this or...
Okay.
Also, honestly, too, my niece lived a big, amazing life. She was very intentional, especially for someone from 15 to 18. She did so much, and I do feel like I want to honor her life. And I'm like, well, me, not doing what I was called to do is not honoring her life. And so I guess you'd wrap that all up in guilt, right? Or perceptions, or just caring too much about what other people think.
Yeah, that's a big thing that we can allow to speak into our lives more, like, and carry more weight than it should. And I feel like sometimes, like, that's like an uphill battle, right?
Oh,
like trying
totally.
to, like, push something up a hill and not let it squash us, and like just trying to do all the things. But then what happens when we let that go? Like, we step out of the way of it, and it goes down the hill and it smashes to bits, and it's no longer something that we have
to carry or push.
We're not pushing it up the hill. We can just like, okay, sure. It's true.
Like, nobody likes winter, and you don't like it in the physical world, and we don't like it in our inner world. And so what I have come to realize is that winter is when things rest. So
yes.
And pause.
And pause, yes.
So your dreams aren't dead.
Right.
They're just at rest or at pause.
I love that.
And my favorite flower is the tulip. And so that bulb is like down there. It's
What a great picture for you right now.
yeah. So the bulb is down there. It's actually alive,
Yes.
but it's not time for it to
And it's storing up, right, for what's next.
to burst through.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's getting stronger.
Yeah. And so it has there's that cycle, and I think the cycle of seasons in our own lives I don't think it follows obviously it doesn't follow the natural ones, but so we find you could be summer and find yourself personally in a winter, maybe some of the things that you would like to pursue, some of your dreams, but we feel like and I see that most with moms.
Yes. Yeah.
But however, I was single for forever.
Can you imagine?
Forever. I was 37 when I got married, so that was a long winter.
It was a long
winter, folks.
spell.
This is a Little House on the Prairie type winter. We had lived in a log cabin, and it was
lots of snow, big
yes,
drifts to
exactly,
work through. Yeah,
exactly. We had to store everything. It was a long time. So I see that a lot though with, in particular, with moms. It's like because you were doing all the things and now you're, I was telling you, you're wiping here, both ends of a child, and that seems to be your daily grind, and you feel like, is this
right?
I hear moms, women actually say, is this all there is?
Yeah.
And my answer is like, well, for now.
Yeah. In some ways, yeah. This is well, that's the season that you're leaning into, but we were also saying that even in those seasons where you're leaning into other things, that there's still space for you to pursue those things that God has put within you. Like I was telling somebody, well, like go get the new book that is, relates to the career that you had.
Right.
Or go ahead and take a painting class. Or once the kids go to bed, like pick up your paintbrushes. Like those parts of us don't have to completely go into hibernation.
Right.
In some of those seasons. But in a season where you find yourself in a little bit of winter. And I know this is still kind of like a new thing for you, but are there any ways, like how can people come alongside you? Like what does that look like to support someone who's in a season of winter?
Well, I mean, and I'm not just saying this, but give them permission.
Yeah.
I'm really not just saying, I think that, like for someone like me who cares what people think, which I think is most of us.
Oh, yeah.
I think that knowing that there are people that surrounding you that, like when you said that yesterday, it was like, I could exhale. It was like, okay, I'm okay. Yeah, so I think giving people permission to be where they are. But you know what? I would also say too, I feel like in that permission, I also want people to still challenge me.
Yeah.
And, with what we were talking about with motherhood, but, or anything, the season, motherhood, the season that I'm in right now, it is a winter, and I know though that what I'm going through is going to benefit me later. So, right? So, what I am currently going through is going to,
it's good.
Oh, it's so hard. But it's going to enrich my life.
Yeah. And your work. Like, the stuff that's put on pause right now, like you're saying, it's not something that you're never going to return back to or anything like that, but the prism will shift just a little bit, and you might see things in a different way.
Oh, I totally will. And I feel like it's adding another layer. It's enriching. It makes things deeper. And I would say that too with anything you're going through. Again, going back to motherhood, you think, well, what is the value of the wiping? What is the value of the day to day? I tell people, I was a speaker before I had kids, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm better.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm a better person. Let's just put it this way. Yeah, I'm a better person. My kids have made me a better person because they
100%.
make you see your flaws.
Yeah.
And then you got to do something
They're
about
so
them.
good at that.
I know they are. It's just like holding a big ugly mirror up to your face and like, oh, wow, that's me.
Look at that.
Ooh. But I think with anything, again, something that you're going through, something that's put you into winter or to press pause, knowing that that space, if we allow it, is going to enrich us and is going to actually make us better at what we were doing or we're going to set out to do. It's going to make you a better person.
I love that.
But we do have to let it allow it to do its work and to not rush it.
Yeah, and I heard recently Amina Brown say that we have to hold space for each other.
Yeah.
Like we have to allow people, like you're saying, we have to allow people to have those seasons, you know, like everybody's not always the funny person or everybody's not always the one that you can go to and they never need anything, you know, from you. Like it has to be like a reciprocal thing. But I really love the idea from Amina of holding space for each other. And allowing the time for that pause. Like, okay, well, in this phase of life, like I'm just pouring into you. Like I'm just gonna pour into you. I remember when we had like 2 infants and a toddler, and we were at our church in New York, and we had the pastor over, one of the pastors, and we're like, you know, how can we serve? What can we do? And he was like, what? Like, no.
You go home.
No, exactly. He was like, we're here for you in this season.
That's awesome.
And we were like, we've never heard somebody
especially in church
say that before. And we're like, oh, okay. He was like, no, we're serving you. Like in this season, no. Your work is right here, right now. And we're going to just pour into you. And we're just like, oh. So it's so amazing when somebody just is like, not only gives you permission, but kind of meets you there and is like kind of protecting you in that. And like, no, and I imagine it's good to be like, hey, I'm thinking of you. Like just kind of like letting you know, like, hey, I don't need anything right now. Like, I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
And in this season of this phase of winter, that I'm remembering you and I'm thinking of you. I also think that would be a comfort.
Oh, totally. I mean, because there's always that, well, in my particular situation, there definitely is a time, I don't know what it is, where people kind of pull back a little bit, you know. And I think, and it's natural, you know, where people aren't sure what to say or what to do. I think people pull back, but I feel like when you start to do that yourself, like if someone was, if I was doing that with someone else, that's the time to actually press in.
Yeah.
And it's okay if it's a little messy and you know, uncomfortable. I mean, my brother even said, we were at a party, his birthday party, and some of his friends were coming up to me and going, so how are they? Like, how are they really doing? And I'm like, I mean, I get why they were asking me. My brother really didn't get it. He's like, why don't they just come and ask me? And I'm like, because it's, we're uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, we just, you know, just sitting with someone, again, it goes back to the permission. Like, let's just give people permission to be where they are and to sit with them there. Because you don't have to have the answer. You don't have to.
No.
It's just giving them, there's so much to be said about, you know, just someone sitting with you. I read an article where this woman said and it's always in church, she went to church one Sunday and someone said, oh, how are you today? And she said, well, I'm okay. And he's like, oh, you can do better than that. And she's like, come on,
really
you're a Christian. You have Jesus. Everything's good. And she's like, no, really, this is it. This is it. And that we're okay with that. Right.
And in essence, though, really, no one's asking us to like perform or pretend, right? And also, the one that created us and created the seasons is also not wanting us to pretend, but we should be able to just be real and be who we are right in that moment, and not worry about so much what we're giving in that phase. Because in the winter, like, you're storing up, like, it's okay, right, to have those seasons where you're taking a little bit more.
Absolutely,
and
well,
where
you have to.
We had a great example of that. Like, we changed up some plans. We changed up some plans. Yes. So, yeah, there's some times where you're just like, actually, I can't. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay to be able to, and you have permission to say that. And you have permission to, like, if people don't receive it well, like, you have permission to just let that go.
Well, yeah, that's on them, not you. Yeah.
So good.
No, it is. I mean, if you think about the other seasons, I mean, you know, spring is new life. So things are beginning to grow. Summer is a time of flourishing, right? It's just, but you couldn't be in summer all the time.
No, I love the sun, like legit. Like I'm like reptilian or something. Like I just want to
lay on a rock.
I just want to soak up the sun. Like I'm missing it right now. It's this kind of cloudy and overcast right now. But sometime now I forget what I was going to say. Look at that. What was I
Well,
saying?
we were talking about flourishing in the summer, and if it was summer all time, it can't be
now
summer
I
all the
remember.
time.
Yes, at the end of, it was beginning of October or something, and I was waiting on my son as he was doing his tennis lesson, and I was like sticking to the bench, and I couldn't get comfortable because it was so hot, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like an overcooked turkey.
Oh,
Like,
that's not a pleasant
No,
feeling.
all of a sudden I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like all of
Right.
a sudden it was just too much.
It's too much.
The heat, like all of it. So that just came to my mind when you said sometimes summer, and I never thought I would say like, okay, I'm done with summer, but I was.
Yeah, no, we our world couldn't, I mean, I guess there are some parts of the world where it feels,
Sure,
but even
sure.
then there's a break,
Right.
there's a
And
pause.
the point is, right, that we can't always be in a season of flourish because we have to replenish. We have to rest.
Honestly, we'll spend most of our time being faithful
Right.
instead of fruitful.
Yeah.
We want the fruitful part, but it's it's the faithfulness that produces the fruit. And then, you're faithful, faithful, and then fruitful, and then you're back to, then there's the autumn, when things slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then winter. And I think they go in order. I see that in my life. I mean, like they do in the world, they go in order, and I feel like they do that too. And you wouldn't want to jump. You need that springtime,
right?
That gentleness of coming out of the winter instead of just being thrown out into the
and getting your strength
sun.
and getting strong. Yeah, that's really good. Well, gosh, thank you so much for sharing this little bit of where you are right now, or for being willing to go there and just it's a vulnerable place. Like you have to put up some protections, right, around where you're at, and so thanks for sharing a little bit of your story, though, with permission granted.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to do that, and I feel too it's healing for me because what happened is senseless. Like we can't put any. It doesn't make any sense. It's out of order. Everything about it is wrong.
Right.
And so when I can talk about it, whether I'm talking about my niece specifically or I'm talking about how I'm handling the situation, it's God. That's how my healing is coming.
I love that.
It is a part of the healing. It's honoring to her, and it's honoring to the place where I am.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not alone. I'm maybe not this specific situation, but we're all in. Well, maybe not everybody, but people who are in a winter right now, you need to hear that you're not alone.
Yes.
And that spring is coming.
Spring will come.
And it's just a hibernation. It's your dreams are at rest. They're not dead.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing. And you can find Kim Nowlin on Facebook whenever she's there. You want to catch her when you're on, because she's got good stuff.
Oh, thanks.
And even if you don't hear from her, in the next 6 months to a year, like permission, right? To just, you're resting. But go ahead and follow her, because when she's on there, you want to catch it. Because she's kind of brilliant. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, look at this brilliance right here. You're amazing. Did you see that? It was like ding, like a little twinkle happened. So thanks for watching. Whether you're watching on a replay or whatever, if you have any questions, any thoughts, let us know. And comments, and we'll check in with you. But enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and we'll be in touch. Have a great day, friends.
Bye.